welcome to the Life in General podcast. My name is Nick.
My name is Bob Diggler, and I'm here to sell you life insurance.
What the fuck is that?
I'm here to sell life insurance.
Who's Bob Diggler?
Me. I'm here to sell life insurance.
Is that like Dirk Diggler's cousin?
Yeah. Bob Diggler, Dirk Diggler. Yeah, sure.
Remember Dirk,
I went into a more respectable line of work.
than podcasting?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a new insurance.
Or were you referencing porn?
No, I was life insurance.
Because Dirk Diggler, you remember?
I got it. I didn't even think about it.
Boogie Nights?
Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
It's a good movie. I haven't seen that for a really long time.
Right. Can I sell my insurance now?
What kind of insurance are you selling?
It's called We're All Gonna Die Life Insurance.
Well, hey, Ian, I hate to break the news to you, but we are all going to die.
I know, it's a beautiful name, isn't it? It's perfect.
Okay. Any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@lifeingeneralpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at LIGPod. Jesus Christ, I'm running through it so fast I'm screwing myself up.
You just can't talk.
I know, I'm having a stroke. I'm having a Joe Biden moment.
Keep it up. Keep all that talk going.
We're going to get to all that.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat. We're on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, all the other places. Check us out. So there was... So we're going to talk about the whole two-party system in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And originally I was planning this show as a political show about politics, not really about like
what's going
election.
on. Yeah.
And then like Super Tuesday happens.
Yeah. And a lot of things happened afterwards.
And it was, well, a lot of things happened just before leading up to. So, I mean, it was funny. Was it 2 weeks ago we were on this show talking about how Joe Biden was basically the 6th Sense candidate?
Yeah.
He didn't know he was already dead. That. I did.
No, I never for once suspected he was dead. I knew he did great in South Carolina, which he did. And I knew that he would. I didn't think he would like rock Super Tuesday the way he quit.
I mean, he destroyed Super Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's now at the point now where
he's the front runner for sure.
It's not only is he the front runner, you would almost need a political tidal wave in the opposite direction for him not to be the candidate.
Right.
I mean, because he still has.
Well, at last count, I don't know the exact numbers, but Bernie was only behind in delegates like 60 or 70 delegates when I last saw it the other night. So,
and then
that's still, and we're still trying. We're still shooting for, what is it? 1900.
It's 1991 is what you need. But the thing is, Joe Biden is going to destroy Bernie Sanders in Florida,
most likely,
and there's another 200 and some delegates right there. Mm-hmm. He's going to win Ohio pretty easily. He's going to win Georgia pretty easily. Those are all pretty big states. They'll probably.
It's kind of neck and neck in Michigan, from what I can tell, which we'll find out.
I would be surprised if, because all the Democratic leaders in the state of Michigan are all coming out to back Biden. And they have.
That's because Michigan's full of centrist, corporatist Democrats. But yeah, it is. Don't even get me started, because I will start ripping into my own party big time when it comes to Michigan Democrats. So don't even just let it go there.
It's at the point now where it's. I would say in the next 2 weeks, Bernie Sanders might actually drop out of the race.
Do you think he will though?
I don't know. No, because he won't. I know he won't. He won't until they go all the way to the convention. He says if going into the convention that there's a clear winner that he would bow out of the race.
Right. Well, I mean, as of right now, if it was like, if we were talking like right now, say it was whatever, Joe Biden's numbers are like 600 and some delegates. So let's just say that was the maximum. He'd say he needed 500, he's got 600 now. I'd say that's a clear winner. He's a clear winner now. If it was like right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say. I mean, Bernie could upset everybody and still get it, but it's just less likely at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's so Joe Biden has 664. Bernie Sanders has 573 right now.
Okay, so he's almost 100 down, or just under 100 down.
And Joe Biden's about a third of the way
right
to what he needs to lock up the nomination. But look, here's the thing: Hillary Clinton was over 1991 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And Bernie Sanders still didn't drop out.
Yeah, well, maybe he learned his lesson.
We'll see. The
stakes are a lot higher this time, too.
I highly doubt it. especially since at first he was talking about, well, before Super Tuesday, he was talking about how, whoever has the most delegates should be the even if it's not at 1991 going into the convention, should be the Democratic nominee. And then he kind of changed that after Super Tuesday happens. And since then, he said, well, whoever's got the most votes should be the nominee. It doesn't matter what the delegate count is. Whoever has the most votes.
Well, I mean, even that being said, Biden still got the most votes.
No. I think because of California, actually, I think Bernie Sanders has more votes.
Does he?
But you want to know the sad thing is? If you take Joe Biden's vote totals, Bernie Sanders' vote totals, and everyone else's vote totals in the state of California, do you know who got the most votes?
No.
Donald Trump.
Really?
Because there's Republican
primary
also, yeah. He got like 1 million votes.
People still allowed to vote for one person on the ballot?
Well, there's other people on the ballot. Bill Weld was on the ballot. There's a couple other Republicans on there, but yeah. The Republicans outnumbered the Democrats voting that day, which is kind of sad.
Scary.
And but that's the whole thing. So Bernie Sanders kind of has built his whole platform on, this revolution, this wave of new voters and this wave of young voters. And Super Tuesday was the complete opposite of that.
Right.
The young voters numbers were way down. New voters were older voters. So in the new voters that were older, obviously voted for Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be another case of millennials and baby boomers ruining every fucking thing.
No. I think it's another case of...
Because the millennials aren't going to show up, and the boomers are going to vote for Trump. So
I think it's another case of bad timing on the case of Democrats. Because in 2004... I know we've talked about this recently. In 2004, Hillary Clinton should have ran for president. She probably would have beat George Bush in 2004. When in 2016, it should have been Joe Biden running then. He was a better candidate than 4 years ago.
He could have ran really on the strength of the Obama administration.
And either him or Bernie Sanders would have been better candidates 4 years ago than I think either one of them are now.
Right. Well, yeah, I've been saying that about Biden ever since he got in the race.
But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I think you're going to see. I would say within the next 3 weeks, by the end of this month, we'll have a nominee.
Well, we're down to just 2.
Well, 3.
We're down to 2.
I know that. By the way,
Tulsi Gabbard, I think she just forgot she was running. That's why she hasn't dropped out yet.
She's still in it. And,
like I said, I think she just forgot she's running.
She hasn't been in the last 5 debates, and she's not going to be in the next debate either.
No,
because you have to have a minimum of 20% of the total available delegates to be in the next debate.
Right.
And she's at like 1% or a tenth of a percent.
Yeah, she has nothing.
She has 2.
And don't get me wrong, I like Tulsi Gabbard.
I liked her too, but
she needs to just needs to move. She needs to acknowledge what the whole universe is telling her.
I'm already starting to see what's going on with the Democrats, though. At least like the part of the Democratic Party that I don't think very much of. I shouldn't say that. It's the part of the party that kind of drives me crazy. Because I'm already seeing Bernie Sanders, all he gets is negative coverage. Whenever they talk about Bernie Sanders,
this year.
Bullshit, but that's all.
Well, no, I'm saying he hasn't gotten. I think he has in the past, but
he has in the past. But everything, and I'm talking multiple different channels, multiple different programs. That's been the narrative since Tuesday. That's all been, it's this negative campaign against Bernie Sanders. And on the flip side, since Elizabeth Warren has dropped out, I'm starting to see, it's because it's all sexism. She didn't get the nomination because it's sexism, which could that be part of the issue? Sure, it could be part of the issue. The problem is she just wasn't a good candidate. Bernie Sanders was a better candidate on the same topics that she ran her campaign on.
Right.
I mean, she went into a space where Bernie Sanders was labeled to suck all the air out of the room.
Well, yeah. Well, she said that she was on Rachel Maddow last night, and she addressed that to a degree. She said, "Look, there's really 2 lanes right now in the Democratic Party. This is what was told to her. You've got the more centrist Joe Biden, and you've got the more leftist Bernie, and you're kind of already in his lane. You can't. There's only 2 lanes, and she, her response was, well, I'll create my own lane. Well, she didn't. That's the problem. She started in Bernie's lane, and then just kind of shifted out of his lane just slightly towards the center, but was still with 1 foot in his lane. Yeah. There was no way she was going to beat that. You know?
And I said that
and I like Elizabeth Warren. I think she'd make a fantastic president.
I think she would make a great president. But I said it for a long time that she aligned herself too close to Bernie Sanders. Yeah. And I didn't see how there was a way for her to break loose of that. So I'm going to read something this is someone who's involved in Democratic politics. They posted, it says, Elizabeth Warren is still a great choice for president in 2020. I'm deeply disappointed that sexism once again stopped a highly qualified, better prepared woman from reaching her potential.
What was the first time? I'm being sarcastic. Because the first time would have been Hillary. But yeah. I said when was the first time? Hillary Clinton is a good politician. She wouldn't have made a good president. She just would have made a better president than fucking Trump.
Yeah, I mean, when I said that,
setting the bar really low.
I said that 4 years ago. Obviously, I voted for Hillary Clinton, but I was never, I was never enthused about her being president.
Not at all. I just knew that a Trump presidency would be a shit show.
What it has been, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Big surprise.
Because I'll say, I was on one of our first episodes. It was
our very first episode.
No, I don't think it was our first episode.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Because our first episode was about how much I hate social media. I think it was our second or third episode where we actually talked about.
Oh, maybe because we talked about the inauguration.
Yeah, and I was on the show talking about how I would give him a chance, and hopefully he's not going to be as bad as he could be. And
then just jump ahead like 1 or 2 episodes, and you're like,
the guys burning the fucking place down.
You're like, I was giving him a chance, but not so much anymore.
But yeah, I just don't like the narrative that I think it's the Democrats are sowing seeds of disenfranchisement. I think within the electoral body, though. Talking about so it sounds like they're already trying to alienate Bernie Sanders voters by throwing out there that he's already being screwed by the system, and they're also trying to alienate whatever support Elizabeth Warren had because, it's all sexism. That's why she didn't get the nomination, because it's all sexism.
Well, here's the funny thing. I'm wondering. Now, I mean, I don't think it was too soon for her to drop out. It was probably the right moment. But I got the impression early on that she was kind of going to be like Bernie, where she'd kind of cling onto it a little longer.
Yeah. She had to back out.
She didn't have to.
She didn't have, because when Bloomberg backed out, if she stayed in the race, then Biden was going to wipe the map with Bernie Sanders. The only shot Bernie Sanders had was her backing out.
But she did it after Super Tuesday.
Well, so did Bloomberg.
Right, but my point is Bernie's fate was almost sealed with Super Tuesday.
Going into Super Tuesday, everybody, pundits across the board were talking about how Bernie could almost have the nomination locked up after Super Tuesday.
Right. And well, that just goes to show you that the pundits know nothing about anything.
They didn't realize how big of an effect South Carolina and Jim Clyburn were going to have on the Democratic voters.
Just the South. Bernie wasn't. He was, which is funny because I think Bernie had a strong African American support in 2016.
No, he didn't.
He had bigger support than Hillary did.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure he did. I'd have to look at the numbers, but I'm pretty sure
if he did, it was pretty damn close.
Yeah, I still think it was stronger than Hillary's, but he had nothing compared to Biden. That's the problem. So anywhere in the South where Democrats are strong is generally because of the African American vote in the South. And if you don't have that support, you're not going to win any of those southern states. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and I was just really surprised how it really changed the momentum in that big of a way.
Right. Well, I wasn't. There wasn't anything that surprised me overly about the Super Tuesday results, to be honest with you. At this point, the only thing that's going to surprise me is actually defeating Donald Trump. That's the only thing that's going to surprise me at this point.
Going back real quick, according to Politico, the Hillary Clinton was getting in the neighborhood of mid 80s as far as African American support in the primary.
Really?
So yeah, she had a lot more of the black vote than. It seems like Bernie Sanders has done, at least this round and in 2016, has done better with Hispanic voters.
Yeah.
Than some of the other Democratic candidates have. But the black vote was definitely, at least from what I'm seeing right here, definitely behind Hillary Clinton and is definitely behind Joe Biden.
Which is so funny because Bernie was actually there. He was marching in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
None of these other candidates were. I mean, many of them were too young to, but
Yeah.
Well,
like Joe Biden likes to say, while you were marching, I was creating legislation to help the black community.
But there's argument to that too.
I know that. I know. There's
I don't know.
The crime bill he helped write in the 90s, things like that.
Yeah.
I know.
So, I don't know. It's not for me to judge as far as people's choices for who they vote for. But I can tell you this. As far as the whininess goes about Bernie supporters, that's on everybody's side. Trump supporters are just as bad.
Oh, I know that. I know.
You look at the president wrong, and they're like, you're treason. You're not supporting your president.
Yeah.
Bernie, you're not giving him the benefit of the doubt. Hillary or Elizabeth Warren, you're a sexist.
But when you make a comment, when you have a former governor of the state of Michigan who made a comment about Bernie bros and then has to come out and make a public apology.
She didn't have to make any fucking apology. She's not running for anything.
I know that.
She chose to.
Hey.
And you know what?
But it was because of the backlash against
her. What backlash? He doesn't even have the majority support. What backlash is it? Is it five people on fucking internet?
It was all over the damn internet.
It was all over certain sites. It's 5 people.
It's more than it was a lot more than 5 people.
Just like with everything else.
It was a lot more than 5 people.
Yeah, you're saying that because you never supported Bernie. What I'm saying is,
I did support Bernie for a long fucking time, but now I think there's a better candidate.
What I'm saying is
that's out of the race now.
What I'm saying is there are small percentages of people who are extremely vocal, and it makes it seem like there's this big outrage. You think cancel culture is a majority?
No, it's not.
It's a very small minority.
But it was big enough. It was I was watching
Democrats. It doesn't take much to get Democrats to tuck tail and say they're sorry.
I thought it was absolutely fucking hilarious watching it unfold online.
I'm telling you, she did not have to apologize.
She didn't
and the
have
fact
to, but
that
she
she
felt
did
like
is just it just indicates how much of a true Democrat she really is.
Oh Jesus! Now you're starting with that.
I am, because Democrats don't have any fucking spine. None of them. Not a one of them. They always tuck tail and turn the other way.
They don't always do that.
They always fucking do. They do not stand up to the Republicans, and when they do, it's ripping up a fucking
because it's not about
speech.
Yeah, well, I thought that was pretty fucking dumb when she did it in the first place.
I don't have a problem with it, but that's the extent of your standing up to Republicans. It's a little lazy.
Yeah. The problem is sometimes with the Democrats is the Democrats always want to be this big tent party. We want to be all inclusive to everyone. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that can be a little bit overboard. And that's, I think, when you get to the point where you have to come out and make apologies and things like that, when you're trying to placate to even like the smallest minority in your umbrella. That's all.
Well, that's what she did.
I know that's what she did. But
don't blame the Bernie people.
I am because
she didn't have to fucking apologize.
Hey, Ian, because it's that group of people that do things like that go out and vote for Donald Trump.
So all these women who are posting shit on Facebook about how Elizabeth Warren was lost because of sexism.
No, there was a guy that posted what I.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of it on Facebook, I don't agree with that either, but my point is I'm not going to go challenging that. I'm also not going to apologize for it.
Yeah. Well, there's something to apologize for.
My point is no one's if the Bernie Bros thing and their uproar of that made her apologize, then why isn't anyone complaining about the sexist side of it or the claims of sexism?
Because they think that's real.
But it's not.
I know it's not.
I mean, let's say it's not.
I'm not going to say it's not. I'm going to say, could it be part of it?
We can't control that a man walks into a voting booth and says, I'm not voting for a woman. We can't control that. But overall, the fact that she even got there proves that the sexism is minimizing to a degree.
I wouldn't say that it proves that.
That's
like saying,
we have a black president.
Black president's racism.
I didn't say it was gone. I said minimizing.
I don't even know if it's. Look, I'll go back and say something that I remember my grandfather said multiple times to me growing up. He always said that we would see a black president before we saw a female president. Mm-hmm. He said because for the most part, there's racists on one side of the political spectrum, where you've got sexists everywhere on both sides and every.
Well, that's true.
In every
that's true.
category.
But my point is.
So and that's why I'm saying, is it possible?
Unless you can pinpoint a specific way that sexism applies here without actually going to what is inside people's minds, because now we're dealing with thought crime. You can't govern that.
Well, I know why they're saying that. They're saying that because they feel that Elizabeth Warren was a far superior candidate,
right?
And she lost. So they're trying to.
Did anyone?
So they're trying to rationalize how she could lose to two old white men.
Fair enough, and it's a good question. My point is was there anything done outwardly against her specifically because she was a woman? That's my point.
No,
that's my point. No one was talking about the Elizabeth ladies or anything like that. The Bernie Bros is a bit derogatory. I'm not saying these guys are right, and I don't think she should have fucking apologized. There's no reason she should have apologized. You're apologizing for saying something
because I thought it was fucking stupid. I thought it was stupid to get all worked up over it anyway.
But that's Americans. We get worked up over every fucking thing.
Like this conversation right here.
Well, it bothers me that we're singling out the Bernie Bros because they got all uproar. But
no.
When it's the same on every fucking political spectrum.
I'm singling out the section of the Democratic electorate that will go out there and support their candidate wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. And then when their candidate is no longer in the race, says, fuck you, I'm either not voting or I'm going to vote for the other side.
Right. No, trust me.
Because that's what happened in 2016.
It is. And I've made comments to people on Facebook specifically who are Bernie Bros and have been posting a lot of negative Joe Biden stuff. And I'm like, look, it's likely you're going to have an option between Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Who are you going to vote for?
Right. So what you're doing is you're hurting your own side. Yeah. Unless you want Donald Trump to win, you're hurting your own fucking side. So shut your fucking mouth is basically what I tried to say.
And I'm not going to say that Donald Trump won the election because those supporters stayed home. I think they made it a lot closer.
Yeah. Well, the Democratic Party failed that situation. It had nothing to do with Bernie supporters or anything like that.
But what I'm saying though,
Bernie supporters would have helped the ones that did stay home because a lot of them did.
Yeah.
But a lot of other supporters stayed home.
Yep. But a lot of that I put on the shoulders of Bernie Sanders himself. For what I considered him half-ass supporting Hillary Clinton in that election.
Yeah.
I felt like he could have done a lot more to bring his voters along.
Maybe. But I don't know if they could have. I mean, his message is strong, but it's apparently not strong enough.
Yeah.
So what difference does it make? You would think after 2016 he would have done even better this time, and he's not. His numbers are showing that he's on par with what he did in 2016.
His numbers are actually down.
Lower, exactly.
At Super Tuesday, some of those states he was down double digits
from what he did in 2016. So
that's why I'm saying I wonder how much of that in 2016 was people supporting Bernie Sanders, or how much of that was voting for Bernie Sanders because they disliked Hillary Clinton that much. Which makes sense because if you think about it,
yes, maybe to some degree.
Because if you think about it, there was a chunk of people that voted for Bernie Sanders and then voted for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So did those people go out there and even voting in the primary was more of an anti-Hillary thing than a pro-Bernie Sanders?
Well, if that's the case, then Joe Biden should have the election wrapped up.
I think he really. You know what?
No, I'm not talking the primaries. I'm talking the election.
Yeah,
the general election.
I think unless there's some kind of major issue, I would be surprised if he doesn't beat Donald Trump come November.
I'm going to be surprised if he does.
Yeah.
I really don't think. And it's nothing against Joe.
But I'm saying
I have a feeling it doesn't matter who they put up against Donald Trump. Donald Trump controls all of the narratives.
He does, but the incumbent president always does.
Even more so. This is something this is not the same as any other election. This is different.
But what I'm saying though is if Joe Biden gets his head out of his ass and actually runs a high quality campaign, which I think he can, and doesn't have like any really fucking stupid moments and really puts his foot in his mouth, I think he has a better shot of beating Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton did 4 years ago.
Well,
even being an
that
incumbent
doesn't
president.
say much. It doesn't say.
Hey,
much.
she almost won the. There was a couple of 100,000 votes swung that election in 2016.
I know, but I don't know. You just had two really shitty candidates then.
Yeah.
Now you've got, Trump, who is just, he's untouchable. He's unfucking touchable.
We'll see come November. I think it's definitely interesting to watch. I'm interested to see, first off, who Joe Biden picks as running mate. Because I think that would also go a long way.
I was
in
thinking
helping.
about that. That's kind of where I was starting to go with Elizabeth Warren dropping out so graciously. Do you think he'd pick her?
She says she's not gonna throw her weight behind any candidate until the convention.
Right.
So maybe
do you think that's a way of playing?
I don't see. Because the Democrats are stupid when it comes to this kind of stuff. They look at things. They when they go to pick a running mate, it's always about who helps the candidate the best. Mm-hmm. When JFK picked Johnson, it was because he'd help him win the South. Mm-hmm. And
did Kennedy even pick Johnson? I thought it was kind of thrown on him.
It was, but that happens a lot. That happens a lot of time. But what kind of, if Biden was to pick Elizabeth Warren, where does she help him?
Well, she helps him with the female vote for sure.
I think Joe Biden already has a good chunk. If you if you look at the voting numbers outside of the state of California, Joe Biden overperformed over every other candidate in the
look
field.
at the percentage of white women that voted for Trump. You don't think that she could siphon some of that off? Maybe some of the more moderate sides of that group.
But
where Biden wouldn't be able to on his own.
I don't know. I think they would look more so at Stacey Abrams over Elizabeth Warren. I know that because I don't want her as a VP either. But she checks more boxes, and this is where I say the Democrats are stupid because she checks more boxes. Yes, she's a female, but she's also black and she's also from the South. And
see, here's another way Elizabeth Warren could help Joe Biden. She could maybe siphon off a couple percentage points off of that white female vote that Trump got, maybe. But she could also siphon off a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she's got some cred from being in his lane a little bit. She might be able to pull some of those voters aside, with her. Ones that wouldn't necessarily go just because Bernie said so.
Once she kind of flip-flopped on Medicare for all, I think she lost a lot of support. She may have,
but I still think she can get a large...
And I agree with what she said.
Basically, what I'm saying is I think he needs to grab a progressive candidate.
Yeah.
Not just a female candidate, but a progressive candidate, a truly progressive candidate. And she's truly progressive. If he grabs her, she's got the name recognition. She's got she can get some of Bernie supporters. She may be able to siphon off some of those female supporters from Trump.
I don't think she would welcome being a VP pick.
I don't think she would either, but at least if
I would be shocked.
I don't see why not, though. I mean, what would be her reasoning for not doing it? Is it just all or nothing for her?
Because I think at that point, I think it's probably more ego than anything.
Well, then it shouldn't. Then what's the benefit of having a fucking woman president if we're just going to get the same fucking ego problems that we have with fucking men anyway?
Well,
isn't that the whole point? Is women don't have fucking egos like men?
Everyone has egos,
not like men. That's a male. If I can't be the king, I don't want to be anything. Fuck that.
We'll see.
If she wants the presidency, the best way to get to it is to be vice president, especially under a very old white man.
Yeah, which, by the way, I'm starting to see. So I've got friends on social media that kind of span the spectrum of the political realm.
I wish I did.
And I've got one person I'm friends with on Facebook. Well, I wouldn't say one. I've got multiple friends that are big like Bernie supporters. Mm-hmm. And what I'm starting to see come out of that section is the whole dementia aspect. That because the person I'm talking about, like I said, the big Bernie supporter, they have worked in the medical field previously. Mm-hmm. And I think now they feel like they're able to diagnose through the TV.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
That Biden has dementia. And I'm starting to see not only this play out of the Bernie camp. I'm starting to see this play out of the Republican camp also.
Oh, of course, it's going to. They're going to grab onto anything they can.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't think any candidate has a chance, because the one thing about Republicans is, as I've said a million times, is for the most part, when they have a candidate, they all get in line behind that candidate, no matter what has been said in the past. Whereas Democrats,
until 4 years ago, we did the same. Until 4 years ago, we did the same. Bullshit. I mean, it was.
I don't know. There were a lot of Democrats who didn't really help out Obama. There were a lot of Democrats who really didn't help out fucking Clinton.
Obama shattered voting records,
but he didn't get support. I don't think he got enough support from a lot of Democrats.
I think he got a shitload of support.
Oh yeah, he got a lot. But
I'm talking about in the election.
I'm talking about in his presidency.
Well, because
I know we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the actual election, the election process.
Well, I just don't know. Because
when it comes to a presidency, you're always going to
maybe I'm overshadowed by what happened in 2016. But all I'm saying is that it just seems to me like Democrats, they shoot each other in the foot constantly.
Well, they definitely do that.
And then when the time comes, they don't do anything to really fix that. And then the Republicans use it against them.
Yeah.
As they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they use it against them, and the Democrats have no way of defending against it.
Yeah. No, I understand.
So Bernie supporters start throwing the dementia thing, and the Republicans are going to use it.
Exactly. Well, that's
and of course you had several candidates on the debate stage throwing the word communism and socialism around, knowing full well the Republicans are going to use that too. Against Bernie.
You know where the whole birtherism thing started from, don't you?
No.
It actually started from the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Well, all I know
was where the whole birth certificate thing first came from, and then the Republicans put it on steroids. Donald Trump put it on steroids,
right,
and turned it into a whole movement.
Yeah,
the Tea Party and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the Tea Party? Did they just take over?
Well, no. Once the Republicans won power, they all of a sudden they don't give a shit about taxes anymore.
Well, no, and definitely don't about deficits
and deficits. That's what I was.
They don't care. Yeah, they still care about taxes, but they just know the rich people are going to get their tax cuts.
They don't care about deficits.
Yeah, and they don't really care about their own taxes, because if they did, they would realize that they're not really getting any tax breaks.
No.
They get 1 year.
They're actually shifting taxes from the wealthier 10% onto the lower 90%.
Yeah, I know. I saw the numbers. It's like,
and that's coming from somebody that in the next 10 or 15 years, I'll be in the upper 10%. So,
I'll never be in the upper 10%. So unless something really special happens.
Yeah.
Like I meet a sugar mama.
Or sugar. Just have sugar fall from the sky for you.
Yeah, because I can sell the sugar and make millions of dollars.
I meant just winning the lotto.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that, which again was, never going to happen. So.
Well, yeah, because you don't play the lotto.
Not really. So. I do very rarely. Very rarely.
So, two-party politics. That's a good way to bleed into that, right?
Yeah, sure. No. And yes, because actually, I went through a bunch of pros and cons, and to be honest with you, I'm not really sure where I fall on it after reading.
Really, I'm kind of I think a kind of hybrid system would be best to kind of keep the system we have now, just make it a little wider instead of having two parties.
Isn't that what we have, though? I mean, other parties have the ability to run.
I'm talking about major parties having five instead of get rid of the Democrats, get rid of the Republicans, and create five new parties, and then just leave the system. Because I don't think
you don't think that would negate a lot of. Well, you wouldn't have majorities anymore in power.
Good.
But nothing would get done.
I think it would.
Less would. I should say less.
Because I think if you have a moderate party in the middle, then if you want to say, I don't want to say Republican, but a more Republican side, a more Democratic side, and then say a Tea Party and a liberal or progressive party. Mm-hmm. I think it would create the ability to work together more than what you have now.
I don't know. I don't see it, but
because it would create an atmosphere where compromise can actually happen. Because now, if you go out there and compromise with the other party, what happens? You're primaried by your own party,
Right.
and someone else more progressive or more conservative runs against you.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean...
So if you've got 5 separate parties, they have to work together to pass anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no true majority that can railroad something through. Right? So if you're...
I just think it would take too long. It would slow things down.
Even if it slowed things down... It wouldn't be slower than what it is now. It's a grinding halt right now.
That's my point. It would be. I think it would be slower than it is now. I think literally nothing would ever get done.
Why is that?
Because you'd have. Well, look at it this way. Because you already have, those kinds of disconnects within the parties. Take the Democrats for example. You've got the centrists. You've got the.
But that's what I'm saying though. They'd be different parties.
But look how difficult it is to get them to agree on just a fucking candidate. To run.
Okay,
look at how hard it is to get them.
They wouldn't have to agree on a candidate because there's 5 different parties.
Right now, try to give the vast majority of the country. Look at the numbers we're dealing with in terms of losses in some of these. We're talking hundreds of thousands. Mm-hmm. You're going to have ties. It's just.
How would you,
I think you're
there's already
bloating the system.
There's already a mechanism in place to.
If you're talking about the Electoral College...
to break ties. But first off...
I just think you're bloating the system. It needs to be more streamlined, less bloated.
But if you have... This is the thing. If you have 5 parties, it's a lot harder to corrupt the system rather than it is
Perhaps.
now.
I mean, Donald Trump would be and definitely better checked if we had a 5-party system. But Donald Trump is an anomaly. Yeah. I'm hoping an anomaly.
Plus, if you look at every third-party candidate that's run over the past 30-plus years, they would all fall into one of those 5 categories. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're a moderate, and you're in the moderate party in the middle. You don't have to worry about someone more conservative or more, well, maybe conservative. You wouldn't have to worry about like somebody in the Tea Party primarying you because they're not part of your party.
Well, true, but... What's to say that that party doesn't primary you because you work too closely with the Tea Party?
But it's going to be someone in your own party.
Which is the same as it is now.
No.
You can't be... A Republican can't be primaried by a Democrat. They can lose an election to a Democrat.
Yeah.
But they can't be primaried by a Democrat.
No.
But another Democrat can come along and primary them.
That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't have to worry about, if you're a moderate, a severe shift from someone else primary you, which is what it is now.
Say you're a moderate.
And that's the fear they use now to keep you in line.
No, I think you're missing the point. Say you're the moderate party,
mm-hmm.
and you're in Congress, and you're working a little too closely with the Tea Party, which is three parties off from you, or 2 parties, whatever, 3 parties off from you. So now another moderate candidate says, "Well, you're pushing too conservative, so we need to primary you." So what's the difference?
Because you're still having the people that are voting you in office are still moderate.
Yeah, but you're looking at it. Okay, so yeah, you've got 5 different parties. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's all every party's gonna have representation in Congress.
It would.
No, it wouldn't. Because,
why not?
Because all right, you're telling me that somewhere like Alabama is going to vote for the Liberal Party.
No, but they would in California. They would in New York.
It doesn't matter. They might have House representation, but they still only get 2 senators.
Okay, so
where's the extra representation? You're never going to have a liberal senator in Alabama, but you could have a Tea Party senator.
Okay.
You're still dealing with the same fucking problems when it comes to the Senate.
No.
Yes, you are.
No.
It's just a much more bloated version of it. It's giving
it's
everything
not more
names.
bloated.
It is.
It's not more bloated.
It is. It's too much. I think we need less.
No.
I don't think.
How do you have what? So you have no parties?
I'm just saying in general, the government, we need less. No more fucking. The House is almost a useless body because there's too much going on there. There's too many fucking people.
I don't think there's enough people.
No, you can barely get 5 people in a room to fucking agree on anything. Yes, but now you're gonna get 500
because you have people in each party that are so damn terrified of someone coming up behind them and primarying them that they're not going to work with the other side.
It's still going to work the same way.
It won't work the same way.
It will because like I said,
it would not.
You're going to have the Liberal Party. Oh, you're too conservative. We're going to have to run a primary.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's all, and then certain states aren't going to even have any liberal.
That primary isn't going to work against you because obviously it's the moderate people that put you in office.
I'm telling you, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to make it more complicated. No. I'm serious.
Absolutely not. It's the only way I see of salvaging our democracy.
I don't think there's anything to salvage.
Oh, Jesus.
I really don't. I think it's a done deal. I think we're maybe 2 or 3 generations away from this experiment coming to an end.
Not.
I'm not saying it's going to like the end of the world. I'm just saying this experiment of democracy that we've been dealing with for 230 years, I think is about to come to an end. It's time for something.
What I would propose would absolutely create a more complex political system. But I think sometimes complexity in politics can be a good thing.
In America?
Yes.
Where half the population can barely read above a 5th grade level, and you want to make it more complicated for them?
I want to make it more complicated.
Well, it's never going to fucking happen.
Not more complicated, more complex.
What's the difference?
It would I think it would
to an average voter who was I'm not going to single out a candidate, but to an average voter in Alabama whose education stopped at the 7th grade.
Okay.
Do you think they really give a shit about how many fucking parties there are?
It would give them more choices.
It would not.
It would give them more choices to vote for.
Because in Alabama, there is no liberal party. There's no whatever that middle ground is in the Democratic Party. There's no moderate party. There's only the Republicans and the Tea Party.
That's where you're wrong, Ian. There are places in Alabama.
I'm talking about that white
where a moderate candidate could succeed. There are places in Alabama where a liberal candidate could succeed.
I don't think so. I really don't. Not in Alabama.
Well, no, because you don't have any running. There's none. Look, I lived in Tennessee. I went through elections where there were no fucking Democrats on the ballot.
Right. And you're not going to get any. You're not going to get a liberal, basically a socialist, a Bernie socialist, a Democratic socialist.
But this is what I'm saying.
You're not going to get any representation of that in.
It would give people more of a choice. There'd be more of an option. There wouldn't just be a Donald Trump or a Hillary Clinton.
Maybe not, but I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't think it would matter.
If we had a 5-party system, I guarantee Donald Trump's not president. I guarantee it. He's not president.
When he joined started campaigning for president, there was 22 Republicans in there, and they all narrowed down to him. You really don't think he could take out 4 other candidates?
No.
Really?
Because you'd have 5 different people to vote for in a general election. That's what I'm saying. You'd have 5 people to vote for in a general election.
And maybe if Hillary Clinton's one of them, she's not one of them.
But this is what I'm saying, though, is if you've got Hillary Clinton as an option, okay? You've got Bernie Sanders as an option. You've got Donald Trump as an option. You've got Ted Cruz as an option. Do you think the more candidates you had in that election, do you think Donald Trump actually comes out of it?
Maybe not, but I also don't see...
Because I don't think he does.
I also don't see there being... You won't know the 2 days after the election who's the president. It would probably be 6 months later.
No, it would be 6 fucking months. It would not be 6 months.
I just think you overestimate how complex it needs to be. Personally, I don't think it needs to be that complex. And I don't think... And I'm not trying to be disparaging, but I'm telling you, the average white... say middle-aged voter in the South who, like I said,
I don't give a shit about the South.
I know you don't give a shit about
there's a lot of other places.
But apparently the country does because they have a lot of say in who becomes president.
Okay,
because of the Electoral College.
Yes, which is fine.
So get rid of the Electoral College. I think that might simplify things and just keep the 2-party system.
You didn't let me finish all the way through. First off, that would be one thing that if you put a 5-person or 5-party system in place, you would have to get rid of the Electoral College.
I think just getting rid of that would simplify everything. Majority rule.
Nah, I don't see.
Get rid of the idea of it being a republic and just and go straight democracy, and we'll be fine.
We've had this argument before.
I know we have. I don't know why you of all people support the Electoral College. Because
when we discussed it before, I even told you that I see both sides of the argument when it comes to the Electoral College.
And I do to a point, but the Electoral College gives too much power to the South.
And I think without the Electoral College,
expense of the
without
rest
the
of the
Electoral
country.
College, I think it gives too much power to California, Texas, and New York.
It should just give power to the people who vote. Period.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Because like I said in that argument when we had it before, if you take the 2016 election, because everyone always says, well, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Yeah. If you take the state of Texas, the state of California out, she got fucking hammered across the rest of the country.
My point is,
she lost by over 1 million votes across the rest of the country.
My point is,
fuck you.
Get that.
Don't you fucking
I
shush
get
me.
that. My point is,
where's my fucking mute button?
With the Electoral College, you're basically saying that in lieu of giving every individual the right to vote, you're only giving several states the right to vote. And if you take away the Electoral College, you're saying, well, the individual has more rights than the state, which is technically how it's supposed to be anyway. Yes. If you don't want either one of those, then we just need to break up the fucking union and each state decide their own fucking way of doing shit.
No, like I said, I think if you get rid of the Electoral College and create a 5-party system, it'd be a much fairer system.
Why not? Why don't we have, for every 1 million people in a state, we have a senator?
Because then you have too many senators.
Exactly. It's too many. It's too fucking many. But there are a lot of people, especially people in California, as a result, because say, well, our state's just is 10 times the size of Rhode Island, maybe 20 times the size of Rhode Island. Rhode Island has 2 senators and we have 2 senators.
So break California up into 3 states.
Why should they have to?
If they're complaining about only having 2 senators, then make your state smaller. And then your state gets more senators.
Okay, if you're complaining about not having as much voice because you have less people in your state, make more people. Bring more people in.
That's what they try to do that anyway.
Yeah, well, bring more people in.
The Democrats try to bring all the undocumented immigrants in.
Whatever. Yeah, but they're not the ones
illegally
Trust me,
vote.
It's not the Democrats worrying about the Electoral College because the Electoral College tends to hurt the Democrats.
I know that.
So,
actually, it is the Democrats that vote about that complain about the Electoral College.
I'm saying, well, what I'm saying is they're not supportive of it.
Oh, well, because you said the complete opposite.
I meant the exact opposite.
Okay. It's the Republicans.
They're not the ones wanting the Electoral College because it hurts them.
Correct. Because if it was the Republicans, if it was the other way around, Democrats wouldn't be complaining about it.
No. Well, neither. Well, the Republicans aren't complaining about it
because, like always, it comes back to power. That's all.
Well, of course, and you don't hear any Republicans saying we need to get rid of the Electoral College because it always benefits them.
And to any kind of change in the electoral process, power is going to be the biggest issue that's going to block any kind of change because the side that has the power is going to fight tooth and nail to give up even 1% of that power to the other side.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, regardless, it's a moo point, Ian. It's a moo point because a cow's opinion doesn't matter.
Right. Well, neither do ours, but we do vote, so. That
we do.
My biggest argument is I've always had a problem with there's a good, we need to have representation. That's one of the cornerstones of a democracy. It's being able to have a voice, have your voice be represented.
It's not
in the government. My point is, though, there's a point where it gets to be too much, and I felt we've had too much.
If you look,
I would say we should get rid of the House altogether and just focus on a Senate.
If you look at every other thriving democracy in the world, all those strong democracies out there, they all have way more parties than 2. So how is it?
Well, I don't know much about other countries other than I've a fairly, slightly above rudimentary understanding of the UK's parliamentary system, but they really only have 2 sides.
No, they've got more than 2.
They've got conservative and
there's multiple parties. There's multiple parties in Germany. There's multiple parties in France. It's
well, we have multiple parties here, but it's the same thing.
We don't. We've got 2.
We've got multiple parties here. They're just not. The other ones don't have any representation. Where's the representation? Like I said, I have a slightly rudimentary understanding of British politics, but the Tories and the what's the other one?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, whatever their liberal side is, they're Democrat. But that's the only 2 I've heard of. So yeah, they may have 10 parties. We have 10, 20 parties too. They're just not represented.
thanks for keep talking there.
Well, I was waiting for you to tell me what you're doing. I know what you're doing, but tell me the answer.
So they've got the hold on, Conservative and Unionist Party, Labour Party,
The Labour Party. That's what I
the
was
Scottish National Party, the Liberal Democrats Party, the Democratic Unionist Party, and then there's 3 other bones. But
there are so people,
and all those have like not like huge, there's you're right. There's 2 main parties.
Yes,
but there's a party that has. There's 2 other parties that have way more than you would think would.
Fair enough, and maybe we're a little behind on that, but it's still primarily a 2-party system, just like us.
It's not.
We've had independent candidates who have been.
We really don't have independent candidates.
They claim to be. Whatever
they claim to be because
that's
they're
like saying no true Scotsman. We can't prove that they're not an independent thinking part from the party. We can't.
Angus King is an independent because he was like, I don't like having a label. I'm still going to caucus with the Democrats.
And
I'm still a Democrat without a name.
We've had
same with Bernie Sanders. He was a Democrat without a name.
We've had Green Party candidates run. We've had
How
other
many
parties.
of them have won?
Doesn't matter.
That's what I'm talking about, though.
We have 2 main parties. The British have 2 main parties. Is my point.
They don't have 2 main parties.
They do.
They have 5. They have 5 parties basically.
They have 2 main parties. Those 2 parties make up the vast majority of their politics.
They make up a huge chunk of it, yeah.
So
but there's still 3 other parties that have decent representation.
So my point is,
whereas we have none in this country.
Fair enough, but basically what you're saying is we would still, even with a 5-party system, we would still be relegated to probably a 2-party system with some side benefits. Basically.
I'm just looking at having more of an option. Having more of an option to vote for.
We've had since fucking November. We've had 25 fucking people running for the Democratic nomination.
Because the Democrats say, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. If you don't reach this amount in one of our 7 major polls and have X amount of millions of dollars in fundraising, you're not."
You don't think the other parties would do the same fucking thing in their own primaries?
What I'm saying though is the Democrats and the Republicans do the same thing, but they set up a system that excludes people that they don't want in the system.
That's the whole fucking thing. The Constitution says anyone can be president as long as you're of a certain age and you're born here.
You can't
exactly. That's my point. But that's true no matter what you have. You have a 5-party system. It's still going to be a 5-party system with rich people running because they're the only ones who can afford to run.
Okay.
It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything.
Well, if we had publicly funded elections, it would.
Why don't we just do that? Just do publicly funded elections and forget about adding parties. Just have publicly funded elections.
Okay, we would be more likely to have 5 parties before we have publicly.
I don't
funded
think
elections.
so. I don't
Absolutely.
think so. No.
Because there is absolutely no interest anywhere in any shadow in Congress anywhere that wants to get rid of all the millions of dollars they're allowed to siphon off their campaigns.
And you don't think there's all these. It's not exactly the same because they don't want to give up their own party's power. Like let's not do the campaign finance thing. We'll keep that the way it is, but let's add three more parties to the system. Do you think any of them are going to do that?
I would see that. I would see 5 parties before there's any kind of publicly funded
elections. What kind of a joke those other parties are when they do run amongst the other 2.
That's because they've got no fucking shot.
I'm just saying, it's never going to fucking happen. There's no way. And believe me.
Because they have joke fucking candidates. Trust me. Look, if Bernie Sanders was running as that Liberal Party candidate, you don't think he wouldn't have a shot?
Maybe not as far as he's gotten, but I think he would have gotten farther than most.
I mean, yeah, I would.
He had the groundswell. He had the support. But at least get to where he's at.
There would be no. Oh, he got screwed by Hillary Clinton and the DNC in 2016. There would have been none of that. He would have been able to be in the general election.
Oh, well, that's true, but he wouldn't. He would have just siphoned her votes off anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't think Ted Cruz siphons off votes from Donald Trump?
Ted Cruz? As I said before,
Ted Cruz's family.
His own family don't fucking like
Fine,
him.
Rand Paul. We'll throw Rand Paul out there. If Rand Paul, he would siphon votes off of Donald Trump.
Maybe some of Trump's. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm all for
more is not less.
I am all for more of an option. I want more people to run. I want more of a choice.
We have more. Think about this. Okay, remember your wife and I were kind of talking about this. Remember back in the day when we had like 5 channels to watch on TV, and that was it, unless you had cable. But even that was kind of like not everyone had cable.
I always had cable. But okay.
Well, I'm sorry, none of us. Some of us weren't so rich. Some of us
you sound like my wife now.
Some of us were poor. But anyway, we had 5 channels, okay? And even cable didn't offer that much. But anyway, we had 5 channels. Now we have so many options that it's just unbelievable.
Great.
It's unbelievable.
It's great.
I can tell you what me and a lot of other people do spend most of our time in. We spend most of our time looking for something to watch more than watching it.
Oh. Well, I feel sorry for you. I always find something to watch. I always have something I can watch.
And
when I have time.
And Nick, what is it that you usually watch the most of?
Friends.
So really,
sports. I watch a lot.
So
of
really,
sports.
you just go back to what you watched before.
Okay, but I've got more of an option now.
It doesn't matter. You're still just going back. You're basically just now I've got more options, but I'm still going to go back to the Democrats.
So you're like, when I got those 5 channels, God, I hate this. There's never anything on. And then you've got all these channels, and you're like, damn, this really sucks. I wish we could go back to having 5 channels, so I've got nothing to fucking watch. That's
no, my point is that at the end,
because that's the argument.
At the end of the day, I'm either watching what someone else wants me to watch, or I'm not watching anything at all.
But now you've got the option to watch whatever you want. Literally anything you want to fucking watch, Ian, you can watch.
It's too much.
It's not too much.
It's too much. You don't need that. You don't need it.
You sound like a typical fucking Bernie Sanders supporter.
I'm just telling you. Well, I am a Bernie supporter. I'm
getting too much. No, you got to take all this away. This is all terrible.
I'm not talking about. No, see, I'm not saying take anything away. What I'm saying is, don't give me more. Don't bring more into it.
That's the most asinine argument.
Well, I don't care. We don't need fucking more.
We do need more.
No,
we
because
need more of an option.
So basically, what you're saying is.
So you're saying we didn't need a different option over Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in 2016?
Oh, yeah. 2016 was an anomaly, is what I've been trying to tell you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, 2004. You don't think we needed a different choice rather than George Bush and the fucking
2004
and the tree from fucking Wizard of Oz?
In 2004, Bush was the candidate. He was the incumbent. Okay. The argument would be maybe 2000 then.
No. Well, yeah, because 2000 wasn't a great one either.
No, but still. And 2000, arguably the person who won didn't win.
So now you've said 3 of the last 5 elections.
My point is.
So
you're not even letting me talk, first of all. My point is, yes, there's something to be said for having some choice. And we do have it. That's what the fucking primaries are for. You want fair elections, get rid of the fucking electoral college.
The primaries are a fucking joke, Ian, and you know that.
That's where your choice lies.
The primary is a system in place for the parties to put who they want in charge.
And you think that changes when you just have 5 fucking parties?
Because you would have more of a choice.
You're still choosing. You're choosing from 5 clowns instead of 2.
What's the likelihood you're going to have 5 clowns?
Very high.
Very low.
No, very fucking high.
I would say very low.
We're pulling from a very thin gene pool here.
What?
It's very high. So you have 5 clowns to choose from. It's still going to be lesser of 5 evils instead of lesser of 2 evils. You're just giving. It's too much.
I think it creates an opportunity for good people to step up and still have a fucking chance.
Not while there's money in politics. Sorry.
Because someone like Tulsi Gabbard will never have a shot.
No, she wouldn't, and she should.
Never.
But my point is, unless you get money out of politics, it ain't going to fucking happen no matter what. Get money out, and then real candidates can start trying, and then we'll see if we need a 5-party system.
Well, here, I'll let you have the last word on it. Go ahead and finish what you want to say.
A 5-party system's too much. 3-party system is nothing. So just stick with the 2 and modify that. Fix the problem here that you have instead of making it more complicated. Take what we have and fix it.
I think I am.
No, you're just adding to it.
No,
because you're keeping everything else the same.
Adding to it would be doing something drastic, like saying we're going to have representational democracy, which is what they do in the UK. If your party gets 7% of the vote, then you get 7% of Congress.
Right.
Which I'm not going that route.
No.
I don't think that's the best way to do it.
What you're suggesting
I'm saying keep everything the way it is right now.
Exactly, which is broken.
No. I'm not talking about the financing of the system.
The whole system is broken right now.
The whole system is not broken, Ian.
It is.
How? How is it broken?
It's fucking broken. It's time to start all over, if you want my opinion.
It's not broken. We just have shitty people that are running the
and
system.
they're going to continue to run it because they're the rich people.
But we're the ones that put those fucking idiots in place.
Because those are the choices that are given to us.
Not if you go out there and vote for someone like a Tulsi Gabbard
or a Bernie Sanders.
No.
Yes.
Well, Bernie Sanders is all part of the issue also.
Yeah, because you say that because you just
quite honestly, and don't try to preach to me because I've been a Bernie Sanders supporter for a very fucking long time.
And to be fair, at the end of the day, I'm voting for whoever gets the nomination. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, if you're just adding 3 parties to a system that is already the way it is, you're just giving us 3 more shitty choices.
Would there be shitty choices?
Maybe
those?
not. I mean, there's possible.
It's possible. But
there's a diamond in the rough all over the place.
I think more times than not, you would have higher quality candidates.
I really don't think so.
Because you wouldn't have to. If you're a Bernie Sanders, you don't have to go up against Joe Biden in a primary system.
No, but you'd have to go up against him in a general election. Who's still going to win? The one who gets the most money.
But this is what I'm saying though: is if you are Bernie Sanders, your primary is going to look very different than Joe Biden's. Your primary is going to be someone in your
left,
spectrum
right.
of the party.
My point is it's not going to change the landscape of our current politics, because at the end of the day,
I don't see how you're
say that. You're still only going to get a president from the middle.
That's not necessarily true.
It is true. If you can't even get Democrats to agree on voting for someone who's far left like Bernie Sanders, you're not going to get the
this is
nation as a whole.
And this is why I settled,
whether you give them 5 options or 2.
This is why I settled on 5 and not 3. Because
3 is not enough.
Because if you have three candidates, like
you're
siphoning off of one,
right.
And that's why I said if you got 5, they're all siphoning off of each other.
But at the end of the day,
and it creates a more
whatever
even...
2 parties are in the middle are the only 2 parties that are going to be the ones swapping power. That's it. At least as far as the top goes. Maybe you might get some better representation down ballot, but at the top, you're still only going to have presidents from pretty much 2 parties.
I don't really see it.
You don't see how polarized this fucking nation is, and you don't think that they're going to polarize in that direction. I think
if you're able to create a system that encourages parties to work together, it becomes a less polarized system.
We can't even get people to agree to get together and stop the fucking planet from burning up. The very structure that keeps us alive. We don't get it.
Well, we do.
The human race.
No.
We are doomed to be stupid.
That's where you kind of. I think you're slightly wrong. Is people do get it. You just have one side that's saying that it's man-made, and you have the other side saying, "Well, it's happening, but we don't do anything that causes it to happen."
So let's not do anything to prevent it.
That's what they're saying. Well, if it's not, that's what their argument is. Their argument is, look, it's happening. It happens in cycles. We can't do anything to affect it.
But we can't even agree on little things. We can't even agree that, okay, maybe we're not doing it, but what's this going to hurt? We can't even do that.
No.
That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. This whole fucking system is broken, and it was broken by us, by people, because people are fucking stupid.
Stop banging on the damn table.
Because people are stupid.
Yes. Well, I agree with you there.
So the system can't be fixed by just adding more stupid to the mix.
I think it's solved by creating more of an option.
For stupid people. You give people more options, and then you get.
Well, I guess you know what, we won't have all the stupid people when Trump wins re-election and they kick several million people off their health care and they die. We won't have stupid people anymore. Yeah. We'll just have less.
And I did point out that the coronavirus could be a good way to cull the herd a little bit too.
Except for the coronavirus, you know what?
Let's thin out about 1 billion.
I do kind of side with the Trump administration a little bit on some of the coronavirus rhetoric and the fact that I think a lot of the panic is spread by the media and is not spread by reality.
Oh, but that's been true for every pandemic and epidemic that's happened for the last 25 years.
I know that, but
Trump's side is blaming liberal media to get him because they think it's going to get him out of office. So really, you shouldn't be saying you agree with them at all.
I didn't say I agree with them. I said I agree with some part of it because I do blame the media for a lot of the crazy stuff.
They do that for everything.
When I see people walk into the hospital like with gloves and masks and everything, I'm like, what are you fucking doing? You're a fucking idiot. Stop listening to the media. It's not going to kill you. Just wash your fucking hands.
I know. I had a lady call in the other day. I guess I can't really talk about this.
Well, you can, but as long as you don't.
I don't know her name.
Or any kind of information that could.
Oh, she just said that she wasn't feeling good and she wanted to know if we could test for coronavirus. And she even specifically said she hadn't even been out of the country.
Okay.
So she wanted to be tested for coronavirus, even though she technically hadn't been exposed to anyone with coronavirus.
Because I got one of those phone calls also, and then I got in trouble because they said I gave medical advice. Which maybe I did, but I even told the person that I got in trouble from. I even told them, well, we need to have clearer communication for what we need to tell these people instead of the same old line of we can't tell them anything, because we're going to get more and more of those phone calls from people that are panicking.
Yeah. Well,
I
know is that
what'd you end up telling them?
She just wanted to make sure that we had the test kits. I said, look, if you come in, you can be tested.
We don't test you though.
It didn't matter.
Basically,
is what I was.
CDC tests you.
Well, basically, what I'm saying is, you come in, we'll take care of you. That's what we're allowed to say.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to provide you with the amount of care that is necessary for you.
But the funny thing is, if you get sick, stay home.
Right. But I can't tell them that either.
I know that. But what I'm saying though is that if you get sick, don't go to the hospital unless you're having respiratory distress. Don't go to the fucking hospital.
Right.
Don't go to your PCP. Stay home. That's the only way that it doesn't get spread. Yeah. Because that's the thing. They said with the regular flu, if you get the regular flu, we're gonna run way over. But anyway,
it was a good episode. We yelled at each other for like 90% of it. So
if you get the regular run-of-the-mill flu, they say you can spread it to, on average, you're gonna spread it to 9 people. If you get coronavirus, on average, you're going to spread it to 47 people.
Why is that?
Because it's just more contagious.
Oh, okay.
So if you get sick, if you start having signs and symptoms, don't go to the fucking doctor. Don't go to the fucking hospital. Stay at home. That's the best. That's the best way to handle it. Like I said, unless you're having some kind of respiratory distress, stay home. And that's what the media needs to be telling you, but they're not telling you that.
No. So, don't die at the hospital. Die at home.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you're having any kind of respiratory distress, go to the fucking hospital.
Right.
That's when you want to go.
Well, isn't that what it is? Isn't it? It's a respiratory disease.
Yes.
Or virus, I should say.
The flu in general is respiratory.
Right. But
that's why I love when people are like, I've been throwing up all day. I think I got the flu.
Right. Well,
like, no, you don't. You don't throw up from the flu.
And there's really not such a thing as stomach flu, is there?
No, there's not.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the symptoms are. I just know it's a respiratory virus. It's similar to the flu.
But most people that get coronavirus, first off, there's hundreds of different kinds of coronaviruses out there. And most people that get it have extremely mild reaction to it. So it's not like you're not having, like I said, you're not having respiratory distress.
Right.
But yeah, sure. It's like
I have respiratory distress just getting out of bed.
It's like a chest. You fucking give me respiratory distress.
But the good thing is,
I've been trying to have this show for 20 minutes. Come on.
Well, you kept interrupting me too, so that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I did interrupt you a lot. That's why I was trying to give you. That's why I was trying to give you the last word.
I had the last word, then you interrupted me again.
Then I interrupted you because you pissed me off.
Well, hey, it's compensation because there's all this.
I didn't even get through half my notes. But anyway, I'm sure we can talk about it again some other time.
Yeah.
But
my mind's not going to change. I think we need to fix the system much more than just add to it.
I think we both agree there that the system needs to be changed. How about that? All right. So it
needs to be fixed.
Any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@lifeandjournalpodcast.com. Check us out on Twitter @LIGPod, on Facebook, Podbean. Leave us a iTunes review.
6 stars.
5 star.
6 stars.
Only 5. You know what? Leave us a 5-star review on anything. I think you can give. I think can you leave reviews on Spotify? I think you can.
I don't know. I've never tried. I'll look and see.
Yeah, check us out on Spotify and all those. And
6 stars on everything.
I'll just put it. I'll put it like this: if you're listening to us on any kind of platform, look and see if you can give us a review. If you can, leave us one.
Yes,
and make sure it's 5 stars.
Good or bad, 6 stars.
All right. Well, until next time, Ian.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you two cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, the niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bro. We taking the dub. Hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit. Watch out, you the God, Billy. Oh shit. Right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement to your eye. Niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas who down for that party. Who down for some bitches who showing their bodies. Swear to God, nigga, this Molly got me up and rolling. These bodies of water. Bring that shit in bottles. We mash at the party. They hate when we style it. Wildin' out of the party.